I do apologize about the delay in today, but it's hot, y'all. So we wanted to make sure we got y'all in. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. How are you today?
Good. Let me just share this into all the chats now that I just got on here. How are you doing?
I am great, great, great. Wonderful. Sorry, guys, we're getting everybody updated because we did put a last minute switch on the time. And then while we're speaking of that, we want to make sure that, we will keep our days on Thursdays. The times may vary just for schedule wise, but we want to make sure you have this consistency knowing that we will have our survivors conversations on Thursdays, guys.
Yes.
It just may be a variation in time, being that we are on two different sides of the world and we just want to accommodate our schedules. Yeah. But I mean, it's a beautiful thing when myself and my sister gets together always. So listen, whatever we have to do to accommodate each other's schedule, that's what we're going to do, guys. So how is everybody feeling going into this wonderful end of the year? And I'm going to roll this on Tawnie because I didn't say it. So we've been talking about coping with and preparing for the holidays as we're at the end of the year. Hey, Shay, we're at the end of the year, getting into the holiday seasons, all of the above, and it's just a beautiful thing to just be able to come together. Maddie, good to see you, babe. So it's been a beautiful time to having these conversations of how to cope with it, how to use strategies that we've used with other people, just sharing like, hey, I don't like going into the holidays because of anxiety. I don't like just not knowing what to expect, what's happening. But then somebody also threw, since we're talking about the holidays, let's also add, depending on where you are in the world, you're dealing with the holiday and you're dealing with the cold weather. Because again, guys, as survivors, we all have these things that our bodies react to certain weather conditions. As I like to say, as some people are trying to figure out what their body reaction is going to be based off where you are in your survivor of stroke, you may not know that your body may react to colder climates or rain and things like that, snow, people.
Yeah, we talk about people know when it's cold out, the people who have had surgeries on their knees, they're like, oh man, my knees feel it, but you don't think that's going to affect your head. You don't think that's also, I go, if you're wondering why you have no motivation, you feel like you just want to lay in bed, it's called seasonal depression. And I would like to welcome her to the party. And she's a load of fun.
And see, that's why we're sisters. I didn't even have to say this is going to be talk about the seasonal depression, but that's what this is, guys. Without putting, before I was going around it, without putting a title on it, but it's the seasonal depression, whether it's the weather, the holiday season, all of these things coming at you at once. And it's just real life, y'all. So that's what we're going to talk about today. How we find ways to, Tracey, how do you figure out ways to still smile through these times of seasonal depression? Or again, guys, I always say, I choose to wake up with a smile every day. Me smiling does not mean, hey, I don't still have neuropathy, they'll still have nerve pain, all these things that I go through on a regular basis. So it's like, hey, do I wear my pain on my chest and my face, or do I choose to give you this space? Because guess what? I'm still breathing and I still have life ahead of me in spite of. So it's all of those things that I choose to put my butt forward, I think the saying is, but I choose to put my smile forward, basically. Versus to say, hey, I'm going to, all that I'm going through, I'm going to live with it on my face. So I'm going to live with this on my face, and then I'm going to talk to you about I'm choosing this smile versus those things. So basically saying all that to say it's here. And we're just going to enjoy talking today about this wonderful thing that we might all be facing. And I'm tossing the mic to my sister, Tawnie.
Well, and you're talking about the wearing a smile, about there's truth. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a truth and a lie. So when you fake a smile, or it's called laughter yoga, actually, you fake laugh. And what's weird is it feels extremely uncomfortable, but I'm telling you right now, if you make yourself laugh up to 4 times, then you start actually laughing. It's like your body just starts going like, wait, she's laughing. Oh my God, we're laughing. So, I definitely relate to that a lot. Because everyone's like, I've said, I mean, as soon as I found out my brain was bleeding, I was like, oh, good. So my worst fear is correct. Like, I was making jokes. Like, that's how I deal with things. That's how I deal with pain. Like, when I get hurt, I have been known to, like, I will be yelling and then like, oh, and people are like, are you like laughing? I'm like, kind of. It's like, I don't know. I don't respond correctly. um, but like you said, you don't, I could sit there, and what's so weird right now is like, I'm going to tell you, I'm not feeling too hot. My spoons are pretty low today. I'm not feeling that great. So I did my secret weapon. I put on red lips and glasses. It distracts people. Okay. Because if you just look at me now and I'm not like that, you're like, oh, honey, you're not feeling so great. Yeah. But right now, like, oh my God. Now, I'm not trying to tell you guys because it has been, and I would love to know who else has dealt with this, of finding that balance of not just making myself seem okay to everyone else. Because I feel in the beginning, I did that. Like my one friend's wedding, I was a bridesmaid. I should have stepped down. I should not have made myself do all that. There were times when I was standing there and I was like, I feel like I'm going to pass out. I don't know if I can do this. And I look back now and I didn't want to tell people. Like they were like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm fine. You wanted to be fine. So there's this, yes, fine line of nurturing yourself and not just staying stuck in a bad mood and just like, staying in it, but also letting people know. And like, that's where I've found it's a different every day. Like today, just saying, hey, I'm okay, but like, I'm just not feeling so great. And that's okay to be that way. You don't have to be like, I'm good. I'm so good right now. It's like, okay, no, you're not. You're not really good.
Okay, so we're going to go back. All those nuggets you just took me, I'm going to go back because I want people to sit on this smile yoga. I want you to sit on this, what we're doing to our body. Because I choose to smile, as I'm smiling, I'm sending those signals to my brain and the rest of my body say, hey, we're going to smile too. We're going to smile. We're going to smile. Hey, I feel the pain. I feel the sadness. I feel these things coming. I'm going to quote unquote fake laugh. And then next thing you know, everything's laughing because we're literally, guys, and I'm saying this over so you can understand how your brain and your body works. And I'll tell you how the Bible states and so many things state, you speak life you speak life with your words. So speaking that with my words. So even though my smile may be silent, my laughter may be silent in a sense, I'm speaking that into my body. I'm looking at myself in this camera and I see this smile. So if I didn't have this camera in front of me, my body may not have anything. As my body is going through the pain, I could choose to turn that smile upside down into a frown, a squinted face, or anything, but I'm choosing to say no. Instead of we going this way, we're going to go this way. So I'm going to fight against it with this smile. And it's not to say that I always need to portray or fake a smile, but I'm choosing this and showing you ways that we get through this to say, hey, in spite of every day, I am choosing to turn this way versus the other way around in order for my brain, in order for my body, in order for the cells to come together and say, hey, you're not even giving me room to sit in this dark place because you keep smiling, because you keep adding this joy to my body. It's the same as working out. You're adding these happy endorphins to the body to say, hey, I don't feel like working out. You get to move in your body and you say, I don't have this energy. Guys, that's what we're doing with this smile. That's what we're doing with these laughs. That's what we're doing with this red lipstick. That's what we're doing with, hey, I'm going to get up. I'm going to move my body. I'm going to get going in spite of all of these things. Guys, that's what it is. All of these things, it's what it is, y'all. So we got to find your smile yoga, your red lip, your glasses, what is going to get you through this next moment, this next day, this next lifetime that we have as survivors, that you're going to be going through these ups and downs and these emotional roller coasters of how to, where to, what's next. We don't know, y'all.
Beautifully put. And then Sherry also said, in Ohio, the weather is always unpredictable, but for me now, my body doesn't adapt too well in the cold. I'm stiff as a board. So I bet if you guys can drop in the chat if you relate to that, because I know I don't deal with all of the physical, like I said, but for me, I say the barometric pressure, my head, when I'm in Ohio, I get a lot more migraines. It's allergy related, it's the weather related. So I know Tracey can definitely speak on the stiffness, and it's so weird that I just keep trying to remind myself, like, I'm like, I should be stretching. Like, I need to stretch way more. Like, why do you think, like, in a car, you go out there and you warm it up? But, like, for some reason in Ohio, like, I was like, why can't I just get up and out of bed? I'm like, girl, because you are a freaking, you're like a car over here. We got to slow down, warm her up, give her extra coffee, stretch in bed, stay snuggly longer. definitely.
Dang said she's weather related. Oh, so I will definitely say, guys, I can relate to this. I talk about it all the time. The cold is for, I don't know, it's for the birds, y'all. I don't even know if it's for the birds. It's not for me. And it's definitely not for, in my opinion, stroke survivors, because I'm left side affected, and baby, y'all know my body moves and does all that. But you would see me outside in the cold or something and be like, did you just have your stroke just now? Like, just now, because of the simple fact, I'll go from full movement to lock, lock, lock. Literally, I go to a robot. Like, everything locks up. It's the spasticity and the tone that just takes over the body, and it just gives this natural reaction that it's like, reality is, when you think about the body, it zaps everything out. So it's like no blood flow or anything going into that affected side. So it freezes up. So think about that first day or that first week, the first moments of the stroke, when our elbow was, your palm, your fist was fisted up, your elbow was stuck, all the spasticity takes over. So it's just like your body and your brain just goes into lock joint, like, hey, it's trauma that's happening to this affected side, because we already don't have the same nerve, the same blood cells, blood flow going into that affected side. And then we get something that our body doesn't like, which we all know, if my body doesn't like the cold, it just goes into,
I don't think anybody's body does. When people are like, I love the cold, I'm like, then you have not broken or hurt anything. Like, that's what you're saying to me, is like, you are one healthy mofo and you grew up in the snow, because it is not no.
It's never been natural. Born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio, guys, I don't give a dog. Nah, that ain't natural. Listen, birthday is January and everything. What people be saying, winter baby, that's a lie. That's what I tell people. My birthday ain't January 5th, it's July 5th. I'm summer all day long. I need the hottest of the hot. So even when people be like, oh, 70 is so hot, it's not. I don't even think it's nice enough for me to go outside and it's 80 plus. Like, that's the type of weather I'm looking for. Like, the rest of that stuff, y'all can have all that. The 70 of it's ridiculous. But again, it's just the process, and it's learning your body. But guess what? While we're talking about the smile and this yoga, I smile all day long in 80 plus. I get this temperature, this 30, this 20, oh, Jesus. Now I'm putting that smile on. I'm putting that smile on because of the simple fact that I'm like, wait, I got to go into this, or I just got to sit in the house. So therefore, I have to put an even bigger smile on, because it's either go into this and lock up, or stay in the house because I can't go into this. So now we dealing with other things. Hey, now we in the dark. Now we in the fact that, hey, I don't want to face the fears of what's the outside's going to give me. But then I got to say, now I'm going to sit in the house and be quiet all day. So guess what, guys? We're going to go through a lot more traumas and different issues with the body and the brain, trying to relate to, hey, the weather induced causes so many things. Okay, how our mind is going to think. Leave the house. If you leave the house, we're going to have this. Stay in the house, and then stay in the house. You're going to. So it's so much, guys. So I'm saying all this for you to really recognize it's not just one thing. Yeah. It's multiple things that you'll have to deal with in this situation of getting through the holidays, going to the end of the year with the weather change, all of these things, guys. That's why it's so important for us to talk about it, to bring it to awareness, because we got to find ways. If it's gonna be in the house, listen, we gotta turn the house into a party. You just sitting there because we're not going outside. Yeah. Hey, it's gonna be a fire pit and movie night, like something to give you that smile to say, hey, I'm not going outside because I know what it's gonna do to me. So I may just be sitting in the house for the next 3 days. So guess what? I don't want to sit in dark and silence and go into the dark space in my mind and say, okay, now woe is me. I want to say, hey, I'm gonna prepare myself because I'm gonna be in this house for the next 3 days. Let's make the best out of it, guys. We gotta figure this out. And that may even be getting up every day and recording yourself, putting on your red lips and the glasses. Even though we're not leaving the house, y'all, we have to find ways to come out of this and always to come on top of it.
That's my non-negotiable. And I told my grandma about that, is getting dressed. When you live at home, you're retired, a lot of us, or you can't work, you stay at home. I'm like, I don't need to get dressed. And I'm not saying there are some days I stay in my PJs and you need to, but I find that if I get myself at least dressed, it helps me get out of that funk. And sometimes, and my husband will go, where are you going? And I'm like, nowhere, like literally nowhere, but I just wanted to. And I will tell you, like, and my grandma noticed that. Again, a little tip, I love a dress, okay? Because of one thing, it's basically like a nightie. You're just in your PJs. But for some reason, you throw on everybody's like, wow, you look so nice. Where are you going? You're like, nowhere, just here. So I love that. And like, that's why I started decorating a little bit earlier, putting the lights, because if you're in your home with just the normal lights overhead, switch it up, maybe light a candle, do something a little different. I know when I was bedbound a lot, I would just sometimes lay in a completely different way. So like you guys always see me this way. I will just look at how now this is a completely different view. I feel different. So sometimes just positioning your body um, has helped me get out of that funk when you are, like you said, just stuck in the house. And what she said, I'm tired of staying in bed all day. Feel that, but again, as the gratitude, the keep flipping of it, I was like, at least it's not in that hospital bed with like all those loud beepings and all those other things. I'm like, and at least, you know, my pets are a huge thing, cuddling them. Like today, since I'm not going to do much, I put little bow ties on the cats because why? It freaking makes me laugh every time I look at them. It's like running over in a little bow tie. Like,
See, but that's the beauty of it. Like, listen to what Tawnie is telling you. She's sharing her life's best experiences to make her laugh and to enjoy these days when she doesn't feel like going outside. Like, I think that would be freaking hilarious. Hopping around, and y'all know, usually her cat is cramming on her head or climbing behind her. But if we saw this cat right now with a bow tie on, shoot, we all be on here cracking up. But those things, guys, we have to.
Those little joys, and I tell you these, and thank you, Tracey, for saying, like, I don't share this to be like, you need to do this. It's just those are the things that have helped me out of some of the darkest times. And like, that's why you see me drinking out of silly cups. I love straws. Like, we have to drink whatever small little thing you can do that can just bring a smile to your face is so worth it. Like, and it doesn't have to be buying things. I'm sorry that I was like saying all like those kind of stuff. That's why I really do love like calling a friend. Maybe you talk to someone you haven't talked to in a while, shoot a conversation in here. I love memes. Who else? I freaking memes crack me up, and I send random weird things that you find. Just
but that's what I'm saying. It's about figuring out. It doesn't have to be always one thing. It doesn't have to put a money by a price on it, anything like that. Like literally, you just said change the position. Like this is the background, or this is the space you're always in. Hey, I don't like this space. I don't like this background. Let me go into the next room. Let me go. Let me flip. Or oh well, actually, that would be sharing something. Well, I won't say particularly what it was. We were on a Zoom call, and somebody was just talking about that. Just releasing himself. I was going to another place, but just talking about releasing himself and maybe even flipping upside down, like how the joys of never thought about standing up straight versus flipping upside down and hanging and allowing, quote unquote, the bariatric pressures to go into your head for blood flow. Just a different change like that, guys, makes a hell of a lot of difference. Like this person was stated that like, I feel like $1 million when I do something like that. Like we would have never even thought about that. Like, okay, hey, we may not have the tools to literally flip upside down. Hey, let's safely go to the edge of a bed, tuck our feet in and have somebody hold it and flip upside down and say, hey, maybe we can experience a little bit of what this person is talking about, this joy that they get from doing that. So it's just about learning and figuring out ways. We find these joys in the little things that don't cost anything. That doesn't really take a lot of thought. It'll just be something somebody said like, oh, really?
I have one for you all.
Let me try it.
Right now, one of my favorite is that we all forget. You probably have a glass of water, something around you to drink. And I ask you, because most of us, you just drink, you don't think about it. I want you to take a moment and sit there with your drink and hold it and think of all the things, like if you have coffee, like what happened to get that cup? Like someone had to grow those beans, then they had to like brew it, then it came here to you. And when you take a moment and then you take a sip of it and hold it in your mouth and think about the fact of you just like drinking again and being that mindful and taking a moment sometimes will totally switch up my day. Like I'm like, wow, like how lucky that I can have like a warm beverage right here in my cup and I can just drink it. So
and and we don't leave on that thought. And it's really just about enjoying the small things, like the fact that we can all go back to day one where we could not drink anything, we could not swallow anything. We had to wait for them to do a swallow test, have to wait for them to prove that we were not going to choke or asphyxiate on our own side, but things like that. And the joy is to be able to say, oh my gosh, I can actually, for one, take this cup to my head myself and drink, and I can actually use the tools that God gave me to swallow. Because guess what, guys? We couldn't swallow. Once we lost the ability, became paralyzed, hemiplegic, whatever the case may be, that the stroke left you or that disability left you in, we did not have that ability at that moment. But now to have that, and to be able to choose to smile, frown, and to even, I think about it sometimes when I'm in the worst pain, to be able to feel that I'm in pain. Guess what, guys? When you're paralyzed, you'll feel it. So all of those things, which we really got to sit back and say, you know what? I never thought about that. I get to pick up this glass. I get to smile. I get to cry. I get to be like, dang, that pain was sharp. Dang, that pain was, because it was a time to be like, you feel this sad? Nope. You don't feel it at all? No. Oh, you still don't have no feeling. Then when it literally became, I'm like, dang, my foot hurt. And then I'm like, oh, my foot hurt. Good. Like, I can feel it. It's a weight. So it's those things that we take for granted, guys, that we don't even think about. But it's finding the joys in the small things. But again, guys, we are not going to think about those ways to go backwards and say, hey, holiday time is not my best season. We're going to choose to smile. We're going to choose to put on a red lip. We're going to choose to put on them glasses. We're going to choose to change our environment.
Make new traditions. Make new traditions.
Yes, that's what we're doing. It's all about the new God and figuring out ways to enjoy life, because we have been given the opportunity and we've been blessed to see another day, blessed to be able to talk, blessed to be able to smile. You may not be where you want to right now and where you want to end up, but right now, let's take the joys and find the joys in where we are and where we're going forward. Because if we keep pushing and looking at that, hey, we are better today than we were yesterday, y'all. I'm telling you.
Beautifully put. Thank you guys so much. I love it. And we'll see you guys Tuesday. Join the channel, because we do share in there, like when things change or the Zoom info and stuff like that. But Tuesdays we have a Zoom. You can come on and chat and connect and ask questions, and just, I'm learning something every single time. So thank you for the space.
Love you guys. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.